Okay guys, so this is 8.3 of your Go Math book. I'm gonna go over the lesson with you and maybe do some of the share and shows. If you'd like to, you can go grab your book and go through this with me, or you can watch this video and then go through it on your own. This lesson is about connecting fractions to division, and we may have talked about this a little bit in class, of how a fraction is just a fancy way of writing a division problem. So your essential question is, how does a fraction represent division? So the connection you're going to make is a fraction can be written as a division problem. So if you have 3/4, that numerator is actually your dividend, and the divisor, or the denominator, is actually your divisor. So if you have 3/4, another way of writing that is this as your dividend. So 3 divided by 4, okay? And so that looks funny because you're like, well, 4 can't go into 3. Well, it can, because it is a fraction of a number. So if you think about decimals, if you did it like this, put that decimal up there, 4 can't go into 3, but it can go into 30 7 times, which is 28. Subtract and get 2, bring that up as or actually add another 0, bring that down, and 4 can go into 25 times. So 75 hundredths is equivalent to 3/4, right? And so another way you may have seen this is when we're turning improper fractions into mixed numbers or a whole number. So for example, if you have a fraction that looks like this, 21/4, 21/4, in order to get this into a mixed number, what do? You take the numerator, put it as your dividend, and divide it by the denominator, which is now your divisor. So 4 can go into 21 5 times, which is 20, subtract and get 1. That's your new numerator over your old denominator, or the divisor, right? So if you look at this second one, 12 divided by 2, that's kind of what we just did here. Or, sorry, 12 halves. We just did 12 divided by 2, or we did 20 divided by 4. 2 can go into 12 6 times. So 12 halves is equivalent to 6, okay? So let's take a look at what this lesson entails. Excuse me. There are 3 students in a crafts class. So 3 students, and 2 sheets of construction paper for them to share equally. What part of the construction paper will each student get? So obviously we have 3 kids and 2 pieces of construction paper. So there's not enough for each one of them to have a whole piece. So we have to figure out, how are we going to give them some construction paper? So step 1, we're going to draw, so our division is 2 divided by 3. Now you might think, well, isn't it 3 divided by 2? No, it's 2 sheets of paper divided by 3 kids. 2 sheets divided equally with 3 kids. So 2 divided by 3. So the first step we're going to do to show it visually is to draw lines to divide each piece of paper into 3 equal pieces. So this is the one piece. We're going to draw that into 3 equal pieces and draw that into 3 equal pieces. Okay, so if we were to take each piece and kind of cut it into 3 pieces, each kid would get one of these and one of these, right? So this would be first kid, second kid, third kid, right? Well, instead of just having sheets of papers, or like just strips of papers like this, you can combine them. So each student's share of one sheet of construction paper is 1/3. So count the number of thirds each student will get. Since there are 2 sheets of construction paper, each student will get 2 of the thirds, or 2 of the 1/3 pieces, or 2 times 1/3, right? So they're like, one student's going to get this piece, another student's going to get this piece, and another student's going to get this piece, right? So one student may actually just get the 2 strips of paper because they're 2 sheets of paper. So to complete the number sentence, 2 divided by 3, so you can say 2 divided by 3. 3 can go into 2 2/3 of the time. So it's 2/3. They're each gonna get 2/3 of the construction paper. Check your answer since 2/3 is my quotient times the divisor. So 2 times 3 is 6/3, which equals 2. So that is correct. So each student will get 2/3 of the paper. Sounds confusing, but it's actually a lot simpler. If you just think about the numerator being the dividend and the denominator being the divisor, it's pretty simple. So I guess as a teacher, we're constantly doing this work because I'm constantly thinking about like point values of assignments. So like if you have 10 problems on a math quiz and you get 9 of them right, in order to find, now this is pretty simple because I know that's 90%, just because I know that 9/10 is equivalent to 90/100. But to do this, come on. To do it, to like find the actual percentage, I would do 9 divided by 10. I don't know why there's not enough light in here. There we go. So I would do 9 divided by 10 equals, and that says 9/10, which is equivalent to 90%. So I'm doing this like every day, multiple times a day. And so in like real life, if you're not a teacher or a mathematician or an accountant or some other job that works a lot with fractions and decimals and percents, then you still will use this in cooking or in your keeping track of your own bills, possibly. All right, let's keep going. Four friends share 6 sheets of poster board equally. How many sheets of poster board does each friend get? Now remember, what we're dividing is 6 sheets. So that is our dividend. The 4 friends is our divisor. So our division problem is 6 divided by 4. So the step 1 is to draw the lines to divide each of the 6 sheets into fourths. So we're going to take this cute little picture we've got, and we're going to draw our lines to divide each sheet into fourths. Okay? So each friend's share of one sheet is 1/4. So like, let's say we have Pete, Sue, Sam, actually let's do a different letter, Carl, and Finn. So Sue's gonna get this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece. Pete's gonna get this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece. Carl's gonna get this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece, Finn, 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 and Finn. So that means each person is gonna get 1/4 of one sheet. So then how much are they gonna get of all 6 sheets? So you're gonna count the number of fourths each friend gets. Since there are 6 sheets of poster board, each friend will get 6 of the fourths, or 6/4, right? Complete the number sentence, write the fraction as a mixed number in simplest form. So 6 divided by 4 is 6/4, or 1 and, 2 halves, but we're gonna write, or 2/4, but we're gonna write 1/4, right? Because 6 divided by 4 equals 1. Subtract and get 2, that's 2/4, which is equivalent to 1 1/2. Check your answer. Since 6/4 times 4 equals 6, does it? Well, 6 times 4 is 24/4, which equals 6. So we are right. So each friend's going to get 1 1/2 sheets of the poster board. All right, let's try this next one. Miss Ruse has a piece of string that is 125 inches long. For a science experiment, she divides the string equally among 8 groups of students. How much string will each group get? You can represent this problem as a division equation or a fraction. First step, divide. write the remainder as a fraction. So now remember, we've got, what do we have? 125, and we need to group that amongst 8 people. So this is pretty simple because the dividend's actually larger, which this one was too. So you're gonna have a mixed number. So our fraction, look, if it's 125 inches long and we want to divide that amongst 8 students, our fraction is 125 over 8. And if we do that work and divide that, 8 can go into 12 one time, which is 8. Subtract and get 4, bring this down. 8 can go into 45 5 times, which is 40. Subtract and get 5. So our fraction is written like that, right? So write 125 eighths as a mixed number in its simplest form. So it is 15 and 5/8. So each group will get 15 and 5/8 inches of string. So explain why 125 divided by 8 gives the same result as 125 eighths. Because the dividend is also the numerator and the divisor is also the denominator, right? So both 125 divided by 8 and 125 eighths represents 125 inches of string divided equally among 8 groups. So they both represent 125 inches of string divided equally among 8 students or 8 groups. Yay. All right, so your work is to do the share and show, just kind of following along with that. It's really, really simple. It may seem kind of complicated, but if you just think about how to turn a fraction into a division problem by making the numerator the dividend and the denominator the divisor, it's pretty simple. If we want to take a look at this first one, it says 6 friends are sharing 4 small pizzas equally. So again, in this case, our dividend is actually smaller than our divisor, right? We have 4 equal pizzas and we have 6 kids. So not each kid is going to get a whole pizza. They're going to get a fraction of a pizza. So if I take this pizza and I cut it into sixths, cut this pizza into sixths, and this pizza into sixths, right? How many pieces are each kid gonna get? So we have 6 friends, right? So how do I do this? Oh, look at that. It's the divisions problem is written for us. So this is going to be my numerator, 4 divided by my divisor, 6. And if I put that into simplest form, each kid will get 2/3 of the pizza. So this kid right here, this first kid, let's call him, doesn't matter, kid 1. He's gonna get 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of that pizza. So that's kid 1. And then maybe kid 2 gets 2 pieces of this pizza and then 2 pieces of this pizza, right? And then kid 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 is gonna get this. And then the next kid is gonna get this. Oops, he gets 1 more piece. Don't wanna skimp that kid. And then the next kid gets these 2 from that pizza and these 2 from that pizza. And then the last kid gets this much, right? So that's 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids, 6 kids. So they each get 4/6 of a pizza, and you can simplify that to 2/3. So like this is a really good real life skill, right? If you have 4 pizzas and you're gonna split that among 6 kids, instead of just cutting them all up into random pieces and then like saying you get 1, 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 you get 1. You can do the math in your head first and then cut the pizzas accordingly. So if they're small pizzas, you don't want to have to cut those tiny little pizzas into 6 pieces and then pass them out. You can say, well, if I have 4 pizzas and I divide it by 6, each person's gonna get 4/6 of a pizza, and that's simplified to 2/3. So now I can just cut each pizza into thirds. Like this. And give each kid 2/3, right? So you get that one, another kid gets this one, another kid gets this one, another kid gets those 2, and another kid gets that, right? So that makes it a little simpler. So each friend's share of the pizzas are 2/3 of the pizza. All right, so go ahead and do this work on your own. I will complete these answers and upload this underneath the video so you can check your work.